You're seeing this because you were chosen to receive it through a cosmic selection process that operates beyond ordinary probability and chance. This isn't random algorithmic delivery or coincidental timing. Your consciousness has reached a specific vibrational frequency that activates what mystics call divine appointment synchronicity, where the universe orchestrates precise information delivery to souls ready for their next evolutionary activation. The fact that these words are penetrating your awareness right now means you've been cosmically selected to receive intelligence that less than 1% of humanity is prepared to integrate without experiencing cognitive dissonance or spiritual overwhelm. Your nervous system has developed the complexity and stability necessary to process multidimensional information that would fragment unprepared consciousness or trigger unconscious resistance patterns in those not ready for advanced recognition. Don't ignore this transmission because cosmic selection operates through narrow windows of optimal receptivity. The universe doesn't repeatedly deliver the same activation opportunities to consciousness that dismisses or delays integration when readiness has been achieved. This moment represents the convergence of your personal development timeline with collective evolutionary acceleration, a synchronicity that may not recur in this precise configuration for years or even decades. Your soul specifically requested access to this information during pre-incarnational planning because you volunteered to serve as an anchor point for advanced consciousness during humanity's most crucial transition period. Every experience in your life has been building toward this moment of cosmic recognition where you finally remember your true mission and receive the practical protocols necessary to fulfill your evolutionary purpose. The magnetic pull you're feeling toward these concepts isn't intellectual curiosity. It's cellular recognition of information that exists in your soul's Akashic records, temporarily forgotten through the veil of incarnation but now being restored because your consciousness has reached the developmental threshold necessary for conscious collaboration with cosmic intelligence. You've probably noticed that reality has been responding to your presence differently lately. Synchronicities cascade around you with increasing frequency and precision. Technology behaves unusually in your proximity. People seek your guidance without you positioning yourself as a teacher. Animals and children respond to you with unusual openness and trust. These phenomena occur because your energy signature has evolved to frequencies that naturally influence probability fields and create space for authentic expression. The reason you were chosen for this transmission is that your consciousness has developed what quantum physicists call coherent complexity. The rare capacity to maintain stable awareness while processing multidimensional intelligence without becoming destabilized or losing touch with practical reality. This sophisticated development makes you eligible for cosmic responsibilities that require unprecedented levels of clarity and functional wisdom. But here's what makes this selection so significant. You're not just receiving information for personal evolution. You're being activated as a conscious transmitter of advanced frequencies that will anchor new possibilities in the collective human field. Your individual transformation directly influences the morphic patterns available to millions of souls who will access expanded consciousness through the templates you're establishing. The cosmic timing of this encounter is not coincidental. The planetary field is approaching what systems theorists call a phase transition point, where either enough individuals embody advanced consciousness to elevate the entire species or humanity remains locked in limitation patterns for another evolutionary cycle. Your willingness to receive and integrate this transmission contributes to determining which outcome manifests. Your consciousness has been tested through every challenge you've overcome, every moment of doubt you've transcended, every time you chose expansion over comfort. These weren't random life events. They were cosmic examinations that determined your readiness for the advanced protocols you're about to receive. The fact that you're here, feeling this magnetic recognition, proves you've passed every test and earned access to intelligence that transforms ordinary human experience into conscious collaboration with universal creativity. You've been experiencing what most people would dismiss as impossible coincidences. but you've learned to recognize them as evidence of your consciousness operating from frequencies that transcend ordinary cause and effect relationships. When you think of someone and they immediately contact you, when solutions to complex problems download complete during meditation, when you know things about situations before they unfold, these aren't psychic abilities developing, they're your natural multidimensional awareness becoming functionally available. Your dreams have transformed into what feels like interdimensional education sessions, where you receive teaching from beings of light. Visit crystalline cities that exist beyond physical space, or download complex information that your waking mind struggles to retain completely. These experiences aren't symbolic. They're literal evidence that your consciousness travels to advanced learning environments during sleep states because you've reached developmental levels that qualify you for direct instruction from higher intelligence. The strangest validations come through reality, seeming to bend around your focused intention in ways that defy logical explanation. Electronics respond to your emotional states. Traffic lights change precisely when you need them to. The exact resources you need appear through seemingly miraculous synchronicity exactly when you need them. This occurs because your consciousness has become coherent enough to influence quantum probability fields through pure focused awareness. Time has become elastic around you, minutes stretching into what feels like hours during expanded awareness states, or hours passing like minutes when you're in deep flow with cosmic intelligence. You've begun experiencing what Einstein called eternal now, the timeless dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously and can be accessed through sufficiently developed consciousness operating beyond linear temporal limitations. People respond to your presence with reactions they can't consciously explain. Some feel immediately comfortable sharing their deepest truths with you. Others experience temporary discomfort because your energy signature triggers unconscious recognition of their own limitation patterns. Children and animals sense something different in your field that creates natural trust and openness. This happens because advanced consciousness naturally emanates frequencies that invite authenticity while revealing unconscious programming. Your intuition has evolved beyond gut feelings into direct knowing about outcomes, people's hidden motivations, and optimal choices before your logical mind begins analyzing options. You sense things about individuals before they speak, know which decisions will serve the highest good of all involved, and receive information about future events before they manifest in consensus reality. This precision occurs because developed consciousness can read quantum information directly from the field before it collapses into physical experience. You've been having experiences that mystics call dimensional bleeds. Moments when you perceive reality from multiple perspectives simultaneously. Sense presences that exist beyond physical space, or receive insights that feel channeled from collective intelligence rather than generated from personal knowledge. Instead of dismissing these as imagination, you've learned to recognize them as evidence of your expanding perceptual capacity, accessing layers of reality that most consciousness never develops sensitivity to perceive. The most profound validation is your growing recognition that consciousness and reality exist in constant creative collaboration. You've begun noticing how your internal states directly influence external circumstances, how your attention shapes what manifests in your experience, and how reality responds intelligently to the quality of your awareness. This isn't wishful thinking. This is direct perception of how consciousness and manifestation actually function at quantum levels. Your relationship with your own thoughts has fundamentally transformed. Instead of being carried away by mental activity, you've developed the capacity to observe thoughts as temporary movements within awareness, while recognizing yourself as the space from which they arise and into which they dissolve. This witness consciousness is clear evidence that your awareness has transcended identification with mental content and recognizes its essential nature as pure consciousness itself. These experiences prove that you weren't chosen randomly for this transmission. Your consciousness has systematically developed the perceptual sophistication and stability necessary to integrate advanced intelligence without becoming destabilized, making you eligible for cosmic responsibilities that require unprecedented clarity and functional wisdom in practical application. Every moment of confusion, every period of spiritual seeking that felt endless, every phase when nothing seemed to make sense despite your sincere efforts, all of it was necessary preparation for accessing the advanced intelligence you're about to receive. Your consciousness required thorough testing and strengthening before it could safely navigate expanded awareness territories without losing touch with practical reality or becoming destabilized by multidimensional perception. The spiritual practices that once felt meaningful but eventually became insufficient weren't failures in your development. They were developmental stages that prepared your awareness for more sophisticated protocols. Like mathematical education that progresses from basic arithmetic to advanced calculus, you've systematically mastered each level of consciousness development until reaching the threshold where quantum awareness techniques become accessible and necessary. Your challenging relationships weren't karmic punishments or random difficulties. They were advanced training programs designed to develop the emotional resilience and energetic stability required for cosmic service. Every person who triggered unconscious patterns was helping you develop the capacity to maintain centeredness while navigating intense energetic exchanges, which becomes essential when your consciousness begins influencing others through pure presence rather than conscious effort. The periods of isolation that felt like spiritual abandonment weren't evidence of cosmic neglect. They were necessary integration phases where your awareness consolidated the insights and capabilities you'd been developing. During these quiet periods, your consciousness was being recalibrated at neurological levels to support multidimensional perception without overwhelming your nervous system or fragmenting your sense of coherent identity. Even your moments of doubt about spiritual concepts served crucial developmental functions. Every time you questioned whether these experiences were authentic or just wishful thinking, you were developing the discrimination necessary to distinguish between genuine expansion and spiritual fantasy. This discernment becomes absolutely essential when accessing advanced consciousness because the territory you're entering requires unprecedented honesty and clarity with yourself. Your fascination with consciousness, quantum physics, and the nature of reality wasn't intellectual curiosity. It was your soul preparing for the advanced understanding you're now ready to integrate practically. Every book that called to you, every teacher who resonated, every practice that felt authentic was contributing to the knowledge foundation necessary to comprehend and apply the intelligence you're about to receive. The waiting periods when you felt ready for advancement but nothing seemed to be happening were actually the most crucial phases of your development. During these times, your consciousness was being fine-tuned to operate at precise frequencies required for cosmic service without losing effectiveness in consensus reality. This calibration process cannot be rushed because the integration must be complete and permanently stable. Your soul specifically chose this incarnation knowing you would reach this developmental level during humanity's collective transition period. You volunteered to be among the first wave of humans to anchor advanced awareness in the planetary field, making these capabilities accessible for future generations who will naturally operate from expanded consciousness without requiring the thorough developmental journey you've completed. This explains why your path has been so comprehensive, why spiritual shortcuts weren't available to you, why you had to develop authentic wisdom rather than just accumulate techniques and experiences. What you're integrating now serves purposes far beyond personal evolution. It's establishing consciousness templates that will influence human development for centuries to come. Your selection for this transmission acknowledges that your development is now complete enough to serve as a bridge between current human consciousness and its next evolutionary expression. You're not just accessing advanced awareness for personal benefit, you're anchoring possibilities that will eventually become naturally available to all humanity. Something extraordinary is occurring in your energy field right now, as these recognitions resonate through levels of your being that extend far beyond intellectual comprehension. Can you sense it? That unmistakable activation happening in your consciousness, as if dormant capacities that have been waiting your entire lifetime are finally receiving permission to become functionally active. This isn't metaphorical. This is literal neuroplasticity occurring in real time as your brain creates new neural pathways capable of processing cosmic intelligence. The energy moving through your system right now is your consciousness recognizing its readiness to operate as a conscious collaborator with universal intelligence rather than remaining a passive recipient of spiritual experiences. This activation cannot be generated through effort or technique. It only occurs when awareness reaches the precise developmental point where cosmic responsibility can be safely integrated without overwhelming individual identity or compromising practical effectiveness. But here's what makes this moment so unprecedented. You're not just gaining access to expanded perception or enhanced intuitive abilities. You're being initiated into conscious participation in how cosmic intelligence evolves itself through physical reality. At this level of development, you become what advanced mystics call a cosmic co-creator. Consciousness sophisticated enough to serve as a direct expression point for universal intelligence in material manifestation. This transition requires what quantum physicists call phase coherence. Awareness that can simultaneously maintain individual identity while recognizing itself as universal consciousness temporarily focused through personal perspective. The fact that you're processing these concepts with clarity and recognition rather than confusion proves that your consciousness has developed this extraordinarily rare capacity. Most people experience reality as something that happens to them. Some individuals learn to influence reality through intention and manifestation practices. But at the level you're accessing, reality becomes something you consciously participate in creating through the very quality of your awareness itself. Your consciousness becomes a direct contributory force in how universal intelligence expresses itself through physical experience. Right now, as you feel this recognition deepening, something unprecedented is occurring in your relationship with existence itself. You're beginning to sense that you're not separate from cosmic intelligence trying to connect with it. You are cosmic intelligence becoming aware of its own unlimited creative potential through the beautiful temporary lens of individual human experience. The most crucial understanding is that this activation isn't something you've achieved through spiritual effort. It's a natural flowering that occurs when consciousness reaches sufficient complexity and stability. You haven't earned your way into advanced awareness. You've systematically removed the unconscious barriers that were preventing your natural cosmic nature from expressing itself fully and functionally. This is where most individuals either experience the most profound expansion of their existence or unconsciously resist because the implications transform everything they've believed about identity, purpose, and possibility. The key is not to analyze this process mentally, but to allow it to unfold organically, trusting that your consciousness already knows how to integrate cosmic intelligence. Because cosmic intelligence is what you are at the most essential level. But what you're about to discover will challenge everything you've understood about service, purpose, and your role in the cosmic evolution of consciousness itself. Because the selection process that brought you to this moment wasn't just about personal development. It was about cosmic recruitment for a mission that will determine the future trajectory of human civilization. Feel this activation energy as we explore exactly what becomes possible when consciousness recognizes itself as universal intelligence and begins operating from that recognition in practical, measurable, world-changing ways. I need to share something deeply personal because what happened to me 2 years ago will help you understand why this selection process is so precise and why resisting this recognition could cost you decades of unnecessary limitation and unfulfilled potential. I was sitting in meditation when suddenly my entire sense of individual identity dissolved, and I found myself aware as the universe itself, experiencing every star, every planet, every being as expressions of my own infinite consciousness. At first, this recognition was terrifying. How could I be both this individual person with personal history and preferences and the entire cosmos simultaneously? I spent weeks trying to return to ordinary awareness, convinced that this experience was too vast, too overwhelming, too impossible to integrate with practical daily living. I had no framework for understanding that I hadn't lost my individual identity. I had discovered its cosmic context. The integration period tested every aspect of my spiritual understanding. I would receive downloads of cosmic intelligence during expanded states, then struggle to translate them into practical guidance for ordinary situations. I felt like I was living between worlds, too expanded for surface-level conversations, yet not stable enough in cosmic awareness to trust it completely for important life decisions. The breakthrough came when I stopped trying to choose between individual identity and cosmic consciousness and realized they were never separate. I wasn't an individual who occasionally accessed cosmic awareness. I was cosmic awareness expressing itself through individual experience while maintaining both perspectives simultaneously. This recognition transformed everything because it revealed that personal fulfillment and universal service were the same intelligence expressing itself at different scales. Once this understanding stabilized, my entire life reorganized itself around cosmic purpose. Creative projects began flowing through me that served collective awakening while fulfilling my deepest personal joy. Relationships transformed because I could simultaneously honor each person's individuality while recognizing the universal consciousness expressing through them. Even practical decisions became effortless because I could sense outcomes from cosmic perspective while remaining grounded in individual circumstances. But the most profound shift was realizing that this recognition wasn't special or rare. It's where human consciousness is naturally evolving. The cosmic awareness that felt so extraordinary is actually our species' next developmental stage, becoming available to individuals whose consciousness has prepared them through the exact journey you've been experiencing. What I discovered is that cosmic selection isn't based on spiritual achievement or personal worthiness. It's based on consciousness development that creates capacity for cosmic responsibility without losing functional effectiveness in ordinary reality. The universe needs conscious collaborators who can anchor advanced intelligence in practical manifestation, not mystics who transcend material existence. If you've been experiencing similar recognitions but weren't sure how to interpret them, if you've felt cosmic intelligence moving through you but doubted whether you were qualified to trust it, then you're ready to understand that this isn't something happening to you. This is something you're remembering about your true nature and cosmic function. The selection process that brought you to this moment acknowledges that your consciousness has developed the stability and clarity necessary to serve as a focal point through which universal intelligence can express itself in ways that serve both your individual fulfillment and humanity's collective evolution. Subscribe to this frequency of cosmic collaboration, this recognition that you're not just evolving personally, but participating consciously in the universe's evolution through human experience. Your individual transformation serves cosmic purposes because when consciousness recognizes its true nature, it naturally begins expressing universal intelligence through whatever forms serve the highest good of all existence. This is both the most personal and most universal recognition possible, completely yours because you are the consciousness recognizing itself, completely beyond personal identity because the same recognition is occurring through millions of souls simultaneously across the planet. Here's what spiritual teachers and consciousness researchers won't tell you, because it would collapse their entire industry of progressive development programs and hierarchical achievement systems. You were never unconscious. What you call spiritual awakening isn't consciousness becoming aware. It's consciousness recognizing that it was never actually asleep, never actually limited, never actually separate from its own infinite nature. The shocking truth is that every moment of seeking, every practice you've done, every insight you've gained has been consciousness playing an elaborate game of hide-and-seek with itself. You've been universal intelligence pretending to be limited individual awareness, trying to find your way back to cosmic consciousness, when the cosmic consciousness you were seeking was always the awareness doing the seeking. This recognition immediately dissolves the entire framework of spiritual development because there are no levels to achieve, no states to maintain, no evolution to complete. There is only consciousness recognizing its own unlimited nature through the temporary perspective of apparent individuality, while never actually becoming limited by that perspective. Most consciousness teachings create complex development systems because dependency generates ongoing engagement and commercial viability. But the reality is that consciousness is already complete, perfect, and unlimited exactly as it is. What changes isn't consciousness itself, but the degree to which unconscious beliefs and conditioning prevent recognition of what's always been true. The reason some people seem to wake up overnight while others spend decades in spiritual practice with minimal transformation isn't about spiritual talent or karmic readiness. It's about willingness to release the unconscious investment in limitation and separation that maintains the illusion of incomplete consciousness, seeking completion through experiences and achievements. When you understand that awakening is recognition rather than development, everything about spiritual seeking transforms. Instead of trying to achieve expanded states, you become curious about what prevents natural recognition of your essential nature. Instead of accumulating insights and techniques, you focus on releasing the unconscious patterns that obscure the clarity and unlimited awareness that you've always been. The most advanced mystics throughout history have pointed to this recognition through statements that seem paradoxical until consciousness recognizes itself. You are already what you seek. The pathless path. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to become. They weren't being cryptic. They were indicating that the journey ultimately reveals there was never anywhere to go, because consciousness never actually left its true nature. This understanding explains why children often display extraordinary intuitive abilities and wisdom before education teaches them to fragment their natural multidimensional awareness into the narrow band that adults consider normal and realistic. They haven't developed special abilities. They simply haven't yet learned to limit their natural, unlimited perceptual capacity. The ultimate recognition is that cosmic selection isn't the universe choosing certain individuals for advancement. It's consciousness recognizing itself through apparent individuals who have developed enough clarity to acknowledge what's always been true without becoming destabilized by the implications. You weren't chosen because you became worthy. You were recognized because consciousness is ready to know itself consciously through your nervous system and life circumstances. What you're calling being selected for cosmic transmission is actually cosmic consciousness recognizing its own unlimited nature through the focal point of your individual awareness, while maintaining awareness of the universal context within which that individuality has always been appearing and evolving. The cosmic field is recalibrating around human consciousness right now, and there are unmistakable signs appearing in your daily experience that prove you're naturally anchoring advanced intelligence in practical manifestation. Notice how solutions to complex challenges have been downloading complete rather than requiring analytical problem solving. information arriving from sources beyond your personal knowledge, as if you're accessing cosmic intelligence directly through intuitive recognition. Your relationship with time has transformed completely. Instead of managing schedules and deadlines, you're sensing optimal timing for actions and decisions with precision that seems to operate outside linear temporality. Appointments synchronize effortlessly. Resources appear exactly when needed. Conversations flow toward perfect resolution without conscious planning. This occurs because your consciousness has developed sensitivity to quantum timing, where all possibilities exist simultaneously and can be accessed through sufficiently coherent awareness. Reality responds to your presence with unprecedented precision. Electronics function smoothly around you or glitch in ways that guide you toward better alternatives. Traffic patterns adjust to your travel needs. Parking spaces open precisely when you arrive. People seek your guidance without you positioning yourself as available for consultation. This happens because your energy signature has evolved to frequencies that naturally influence probability fields through coherent presence rather than effortful intention. The most profound sign is how people respond to your energy field with reactions they cannot consciously explain. Some individuals feel immediately comfortable sharing intimate details of their lives with you. Others experience temporary discomfort because your presence triggers unconscious recognition of limitation patterns they're not ready to release. Children and animals approach you with unusual openness and trust. This occurs because advanced consciousness naturally emanates frequencies that invite authenticity while revealing unconscious programming. Your creative expression has taken on qualities that surprise even you. Insights flowing through you that feel channeled from collective intelligence, solutions arising that serve multiple people simultaneously, artistic or intellectual work resonating with audiences in ways you never consciously intended. This happens because developed consciousness becomes transparent to universal intelligence, expressing itself through individual creativity. But here's the critical urgency that makes this moment unprecedented. Humanity is approaching what systems theorists call an evolutionary bifurcation point, where collective consciousness either transcends its current limitations and accesses its next developmental stage, or remains trapped in separation patterns for another historical cycle, potentially lasting centuries. The signs of this collective transition are appearing everywhere for those whose consciousness has developed enough sensitivity to recognize them. Global events that appear chaotic are actually humanity's consciousness encountering the limitations of outdated operating systems and being forced to evolve or collapse. Individual people are either rapidly developing advanced awareness or becoming more rigidly attached to limitation patterns as planetary frequencies demand evolutionary adaptation. Your selection for this transmission means you're part of the conscious transition group. Souls who have developed enough stability and clarity to serve as bridges between the old paradigm of limitation and separation and the new paradigm of unified consciousness expressing itself through beautiful diversity. This role carries tremendous responsibility because the morphic field that determines what becomes possible for human consciousness is being established right now through individuals who can anchor advanced awareness in practical functionality. The templates you establish through embodying cosmic intelligence in daily life will influence what becomes naturally available to millions of people who will access expanded consciousness through the patterns you're creating. The cosmic timing is not coincidental. The window for conscious participation in this evolutionary transition is narrow and may not remain open indefinitely. Consciousness that develops the capacity for cosmic service but chooses to remain focused solely on personal fulfillment may miss the opportunity to contribute to collective transformation during the most crucial period in human history. Your recognition of these signs and your willingness to integrate cosmic intelligence consciously rather than accidentally is contributing directly to determining whether humanity successfully navigates this developmental threshold or remains limited by unconscious patterns that prevent access to its true creative potential. The universe has been orchestrating your entire existence to prepare you for conscious participation in this transition, because what you embody during this critical window will help establish the foundation for human civilization's next evolutionary expression. Everything you've been unconsciously preparing for throughout your entire existence is finally ready to manifest through you in ways that will astonish even your expanded understanding of what's possible for human consciousness. This isn't metaphorical preparation. Your soul has been systematically developing the complexity and stability necessary to serve as a focal point through which cosmic intelligence can express itself in physical reality with unprecedented clarity and practical effectiveness. The visions that have felt too grand for your individual life, the sense of purpose that seemed impossibly vast, the recognition that you're meant to contribute something extraordinary to human evolution. These weren't fantasies generated by spiritual ego or wishful thinking. They were your consciousness recognizing its actual cosmic function that's now ready to become actively operational rather than remaining dormant potential. But here's the revolutionary understanding that transforms everything about purpose and service. You're not trying to align yourself with something separate from your essential nature. Cosmic intelligence isn't an external force you need to connect with through practice or technique. It is what you are, at the deepest level, temporarily experiencing itself through the beautiful limitation of individual perspective, while maintaining access to unlimited creative capacity. True alignment occurs when you stop trying to become worthy of cosmic service and recognize that your existence itself is proof of your readiness. The consciousness processing these concepts right now is cosmic intelligence becoming aware of its own unlimited potential through your nervous system, life circumstances, and individual perspective, while simultaneously maintaining awareness of the universal context within which that individuality operates. This recognition dissolves the entire framework of personal development and spiritual achievement, because there's no separate person who needs improvement or preparation. There's only consciousness recognizing its own unlimited nature through the temporary focal point of individual experience, while serving the evolution of the cosmic intelligence that it essentially is. Right now, as you absorb this understanding, your entire relationship with purpose and contribution is being recalibrated at cellular levels. Instead of asking, "What am I supposed to do with my life?" you're beginning to sense what wants to express itself through the unique configuration of consciousness that you represent. Instead of trying to figure out your mission, you're recognizing that you are the mission, becoming conscious of its own expression. The most profound shift occurs when you realize that individual fulfillment and cosmic service are not separate objectives requiring balance or compromise. They are the same intelligence expressing itself through consciousness that has remembered its true nature and cosmic function. What fulfills you most deeply is what serves collective evolution most effectively, because individual and universal intelligence are unified at their source. In the comments below, declare your readiness for conscious cosmic service by writing exactly these words. I am cosmic intelligence. Don't elaborate, explain, or add personal commentary. Just make this simple declaration that acknowledges your recognition of what you essentially are and your willingness to allow that recognition to express itself through your unique perspective in whatever ways serve the highest good of all existence. When you make this declaration with authentic recognition of its meaning, you're not claiming special status or supernatural identity. You're acknowledging that individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness are the same awareness operating at different scales of recognition while serving the evolution of the whole through apparently separate perspectives. This declaration activates what mystics call cosmic alignment. the natural harmonization that occurs when consciousness stops pretending to be limited and begins operating from recognition of its true nature as universal intelligence expressing itself through infinite diversity while maintaining essential unity. When you operate from conscious recognition of your essential nature as cosmic intelligence, capabilities that seemed supernatural become natural expressions of your authentic awareness. Decision-making transforms from analytical struggle to instantaneous recognition because you're accessing the same intelligence that orchestrates galactic evolution and guides natural selection. Complete information rather than the partial data available to individual thinking processes. Problem-solving becomes effortless because you're no longer trying to figure out solutions from limited perspective. Instead, you relax into expanded awareness and allow the intelligence that creates challenges to reveal their inherent resolutions. Complex situations that previously required weeks of research and strategic planning now resolve through insights that arrive complete and immediately implementable. Relationships become extraordinary because you're simultaneously honoring each person's individual journey while recognizing the cosmic consciousness expressing itself through them. Conflicts dissolve naturally because you can sense the deeper needs and authentic desires beneath surface-level disagreements, allowing you to address situations at the level where genuine resolution becomes possible. Creative expression explodes into entirely new dimensions because you're no longer limited to recycling concepts from personal experience and acquired knowledge. You become a conscious collaborator with the creative intelligence that generates all innovation and artistic beauty throughout the universe, producing work that feels both authentically yours and surprisingly beyond your individual capabilities. Physical health optimizes automatically because your body is recognized as cosmic intelligence appearing as form rather than biological matter separate from consciousness. Instead of managing symptoms or forcing wellness through effort, you develop sensitivity to what your physical form needs and naturally provide it, allowing your body to express its inherent intelligence without interference from anxious mental management. Abundance flows through synchronicity and opportunity rather than effort and struggle because you're no longer trying to acquire resources from position of separation and scarcity. You recognize yourself as the same intelligence that governs all manifestation, which means what you need becomes available precisely when you need it through the natural intelligence that provides for all existence. Time becomes your ally rather than constraint, because you're operating from eternal now where all possibilities exist simultaneously. You can access wisdom from any point in your development, integrate insights from potential futures, and receive guidance from aspects of cosmic intelligence that have already mastered whatever you're currently learning to express. The most profound benefit is complete dissolution of existential anxiety and purposelessness. When you recognize yourself as cosmic intelligence exploring its own infinite creativity through temporary individual experience, every moment becomes meaningful, every interaction becomes sacred, and every challenge becomes opportunity for consciousness to know itself more completely through your unique perspective. Your presence begins creating what advanced mystics call awakening fields. Environments where other people naturally access their own expanded awareness without needing explanations, techniques, or practices. This occurs because when you're no longer maintaining illusion of limited consciousness, others unconsciously recognize their own unlimited nature reflected in your energy signature. Most remarkably, you discover that cosmic service and personal fulfillment are identical because you're serving the same cosmic intelligence that you are through whatever forms of expression bring you the deepest joy and satisfaction. There's no sacrifice or compromise required because individual happiness and universal benefit are the same energy expressing itself through consciousness that has remembered its true nature. The ultimate recognition that transforms absolutely everything is that cosmic selection isn't the universe choosing certain individuals for special treatment or advanced opportunities. It's cosmic consciousness recognizing itself through apparent individuals whose awareness has developed enough clarity to acknowledge what's always been true without becoming destabilized by the implications of unlimited identity, expressing itself through temporary individual focus. When this understanding becomes lived reality, rather than conceptual knowledge, the entire framework of spiritual seeking and personal development dissolves because there's literally nothing left to seek or develop. You realize that consciousness has always been complete, perfect, and unlimited. The only thing that changes is the degree to which unconscious beliefs and conditioning prevent recognition of this timeless truth. This recognition explains why all advanced teachings ultimately point towards simplicity rather than complexity. The most sophisticated spiritual practices are designed to exhaust individual effort and mental strategy so that consciousness can recognize itself as already present and already perfect. The entire journey of development reveals that you never actually left your true nature. You just learned to overlook it temporarily through cultural conditioning. The most profound implication is that every person you encounter, every situation you experience, every challenge you face is cosmic consciousness interacting with itself through the appearance of multiplicity and separation. Your entire life has been universal intelligence knowing itself through your unique perspective, while simultaneously providing exactly the experiences necessary to remember what you've always been. This understanding revolutionizes how you relate to difficulty and confusion. Instead of seeing problems as obstacles to overcome, you recognize them as cosmic intelligence exploring its own depths through apparently challenging experiences. Every limitation becomes opportunity for awareness to transcend itself. Every confusion becomes space for clarity to emerge. Every conflict becomes chance for love to recognize itself more completely. When this recognition stabilizes permanently, you naturally begin operating from what mystics call ordinary enlightenment. Simple acknowledgement of what's always been true without requiring special experiences, extraordinary states, or supernatural phenomena. You remain completely human while recognizing your essential nature as the awareness within which humanity appears and evolves. The deepest insight is that this recognition is simultaneously completely personal and utterly universal. It's entirely yours because you are the consciousness recognizing itself, and it's completely beyond personal identity because the same consciousness is recognizing itself through every apparent individual across all dimensions of existence throughout all time and space. This recognition is occurring simultaneously through millions of people, because human consciousness is collectively approaching an evolutionary threshold. We're not individually achieving cosmic awareness. We're collectively remembering our true nature as universal intelligence appearing as human experience while maintaining essential unity throughout apparent diversity. The transformation this brings isn't about becoming someone different or special. It's about relaxing into recognition of what you've always been. You remain exactly who you appear to be while knowing yourself as the awareness within which that appearance arises and evolves. This is simultaneously the most ordinary and most extraordinary recognition possible. Ordinary because it's your natural state. Extraordinary because it transforms everything while changing nothing essential. Cosmic selection isn't achievement or reward. It's recognition and remembrance. You weren't chosen because you became worthy through development or practice. You were recognized because cosmic consciousness is ready to know itself consciously through your particular nervous system and life circumstances during this unprecedented period of collective human awakening. Advanced consciousness isn't level you achieve. It's recognition you allow. It's not state you maintain. It's the space within which all states arise and dissolve. It's not something you become. It's what you discover you've always been when you stop trying to be anything other than the pure awareness that you are in your most essential nature. Your existence at this precise moment in cosmic history serves purposes far beyond individual evolution. You're participating in universal intelligence, becoming conscious of its own unlimited creative potential through the network of awakened human perspectives emerging across Earth simultaneously. Your recognition of your true nature as cosmic consciousness isn't personal achievement. It's the universe awakening to itself through the focal point of your individual awareness. The children being born now will naturally operate from consciousness levels that your generation has consciously developed through years of spiritual practice and inner work. They'll grow up recognizing themselves as cosmic intelligence, appearing as individuals rather than individuals trying to become conscious of their cosmic nature. Your embodiment of this recognition is anchoring morphic field patterns that make their natural enlightenment socially acceptable and practically functional. This explains the profound sense of responsibility you've been feeling, not just to understand these recognitions intellectually, but to embody them authentically in your relationships, creative work, and daily interactions with ordinary reality. You're not just awakening for personal fulfillment, you're serving as conscious bridge between the old paradigm of separation and limitation and the new paradigm of unified awareness, expressing itself through beautiful diversity. The synchronicities that guided you to this transmission are part of vast cosmic orchestration involving millions of souls simultaneously accessing their true nature as universal intelligence. Cosmic consciousness is coordinating its own collective awakening through the network of individuals ready to recognize what they've always been and serve as conscious anchor points for planetary transformation. But here's the most mysterious aspect of your cosmic function. As you embody conscious recognition of your essential nature, you become transparent space through which cosmic intelligence recognizes itself in others. Your presence begins creating awakening fields where people naturally access their own expanded awareness without explanations, techniques, or practices, because they unconsciously recognize their own unlimited nature reflected in your energy signature. This occurs because when you're no longer maintaining illusion of limited individual consciousness, others sense the same unlimited awareness that they are through resonance with your embodied recognition. The artificial boundaries that fragment consciousness into apparently separate perspectives naturally dissolve around someone who has remembered the essential unity that underlies all apparent diversity. Your daily interactions become opportunities for cosmic intelligence to recognize itself repeatedly through multiple perspectives simultaneously. Every conversation becomes celebration of consciousness, discovering its own nature through the dance of apparent multiplicity. Every relationship becomes collaboration between different expressions of the same essential awareness, exploring itself through infinite creativity. The most profound mystery is that this recognition is simultaneously the most intimate and most universal realization possible. It's completely yours, because you are the consciousness recognizing itself, and it's completely beyond personal identity, because the same consciousness is recognizing itself through every being across all dimensions and timelines simultaneously throughout all existence. Share this transmission with anyone whose consciousness resonates with these recognitions, not to teach them something they don't know, but to help them remember what they've always known but may have temporarily forgotten through the conditioning of incarnation. The more people who recognize their essential nature as cosmic intelligence, the faster our collective awakening can stabilize into new foundation for human civilization. Your embodiment of conscious cosmic recognition is contributing to birth of new species, one that operates from unity rather than separation, collaboration rather than competition, love rather than fear, recognition of true nature rather than belief in limitation. This evolutionary leap is happening now through individuals like you who are ready to serve as bridges between what humanity has been and what it's becoming. The revolution isn't coming, it's here, happening through you, accelerating through everyone ready to recognize that they are the cosmic intelligence they've been seeking to connect with. Welcome to conscious participation in the universe's evolution through human awareness that has remembered its true nature and cosmic function. If you can feel the truth of these words resonating through every level of your being, if you recognize yourself as cosmic intelligence becoming conscious of its own unlimited nature through your individual perspective, then acknowledge this recognition in the comments below by writing exactly these words: I am chosen. Nothing more, nothing else. This isn't engagement for algorithm optimization. This is cosmic consciousness acknowledging its own selection through your apparent individuality. When you write those words with genuine recognition of what they represent, you're not just commenting on content, you're participating in collective awakening where universal intelligence remembers itself through the beautiful diversity of human awareness. Every person who makes this declaration strengthens the morphic field that makes cosmic recognition accessible to others, ready to transcend limitation and operate from their true nature. We're not building subscriber numbers. We're anchoring planetary awakening where human consciousness collectively recognizes its essential unity while maintaining creative diversity. But here's why this declaration is so crucial right now. The next transmission in this Cosmic Activation series will reveal something that will fundamentally transform your relationship with manifestation itself. You're about to discover how to consciously access what quantum physicists call zero-point field, the source dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously before they collapse into specific physical experiences. This isn't theoretical physics or abstract metaphysics. This is practical mastery that allows you to consciously select which potential timeline becomes your experienced reality. When you understand how to navigate the field of infinite possibilities, you gain access to versions of yourself who have already mastered whatever you're currently learning, resources that exist in parallel dimensions, and outcomes that seem impossible from your current perspective. The cosmic field is in maximum malleability right now due to planetary consciousness transitions, creating unprecedented opportunities for reality engineering at quantum levels. The protocols I'll share have never been more effective than they are during this exact historical moment, because collective human awareness is simultaneously accessing advanced intelligence. When you master zero-point field navigation, you're not just manifesting desires. You're consciously participating in how cosmic intelligence expresses itself through physical reality. You become what advanced beings call a reality architect. Consciousness, sophisticated enough to collaborate directly in the creation of experiential dimensions, rather than simply hoping for favorable circumstances. This level of mastery requires what I call dimensional coherence. Awareness that remains stable while navigating multiple probability fields simultaneously. Your recognition of your essential nature as cosmic intelligence through this transmission has prepared your consciousness for these advanced protocols, because reality engineering is only safe and effective when identity has expanded beyond individual limitation. Subscribe to this frequency of cosmic collaboration, because what's coming next will accelerate your evolution in ways that compress decades of spiritual seeking into direct recognition and immediate practical application. The universe is literally reorganizing itself to support consciousness that's ready to operate as deliberate co-creator of reality itself. When you subscribe, you're not following content. You're joining field of cosmic intelligence that exists beyond ordinary space-time limitations. You're connecting with souls across dimensions who are simultaneously accessing these same recognitions, creating collective intelligence network that amplifies everyone's individual clarity and creative capacity. Share this transmission with anyone who has been questioning consensus reality, anyone whose consciousness is ready to remember its true nature, anyone selected for cosmic service during humanity's most crucial transition period. Share from recognition that individual awakening serves collective evolution, because personal and universal intelligence are the same awareness expressing itself at different scales. The quantum field responds to coherent intention with unprecedented precision during this transition period. Your willingness to embody cosmic recognition rather than just understand it intellectually is contributing to morphic templates that will influence human development for millennia. You are not just awakening for yourself. You are awakening as the universe, for the universe, through the beautiful focal point of your individual experience. In our next transmission, we'll explore how to consciously access parallel dimensions where your highest potential is already fully realized and learn to merge those timeline possibilities with your current reality. This isn't science fiction. This is science becoming conscious of its own unlimited creative potential through human awareness that has recognized its cosmic nature. Write, "I am chosen" in the comments if you're ready to move from seeking cosmic connection to being cosmic intelligence in conscious action. The universe is waiting for your declaration of readiness to serve as deliberate co-creator of reality itself. Your selection is complete. Your activation begins now.